Hi guys, Aslam Khan here to explain you 3 years of financial statements in depth for GCE O-level examination. If you have any questions regarding the explanation which I have uploaded, you can comment under comment section, and also please do not forget to subscribe our channel to learn more videos. Let's start with the trial balance of Kavindu's business for 2018. I hope you can see the trial balance of Kavindu here. So it says that the land and building at cost. First of all, you need to know the trial balance details. Then after that, you can go to the requirement and see what they have requested. Either you can start from the beginning from here, or either you can go down and you can start. But I always recommend you to always start from the top to the bottom. So you will understand where to start and where to stop. So when we are going to do this 3 years of questions, first of all, before we starting the question, I want you to write the workings. When it comes to statement of profit and loss account, I want you to write sales on top of the figure on profit and loss account, and write cost of sales. This is the format of profit and loss account. Profit and loss account means income statement. In another term, you can write income statement, but always remember to write the year end to 31st 12 2017. And also sales is given here. Cost of sales is already you need to record it. Then after you need to write opening stock, purchase, then leave two lines. Maybe you might have carriage inwards coming in or return outwards going out in between, or drawings of goods, we don't know. But always leave two lines when you're writing the format, and write closing stock. Then you get gross profit by deducting the cost of sales from sales. Then you have other income. You need to have 3 lines, more than enough. Selling and distribution expense, 4 lines is more than enough. Administration expense, 5 lines is enough. Finance expense, leave 4 to 3 lines. And finally, you'll get either net profit or net loss. That's how you need to write the format. So after finishing the statement of profit and loss account format, you need to move on to statement of financial position format. You always need to start with non-current asset. Most of the time, they might give only one vehicle or one machine, only one particular asset's depreciation. They will not give more than that in a question. And also you need to write all the current asset. You need to know what is the current asset, what is the non-current asset before you are doing the sum. So you need to know the basics before we start the sum. And I'm going to teach you why this is why these are going to come here in each adjustment. So you need to learn these basic knowledge about current asset and non-current assets in future videos which we are going to upload. So total assets, once you add with non-current assets and current assets, you will get total assets, and you need to put capital and profit. You can leave a space for drawings. If they have given drawings, you need to deduct here. Non-current liability is a long-term loan which you have taken outside the business. Most of the time, it will be a bank loan. They will not test more than a bank loan on your GC O-level paper. Current liability, most of the time, it will be two things which you might see. Sometimes three. A bank overdraft can be seen under current liability. Trade creditors will be seen under current liability. Accrued expenses can be seen under current liability. So before we move on to the sum, you need to plot all these things properly on the question. So let me move on to the sum. Yeah. So 2018, we have land and building at cost 300,000. Capital, I'll zoom a bit so you can have a good look onto the sum which you are going to do. Land and building at cost 300,000. Capital 500,000. Distribution vehicle at cost 400,000. Distribution vehicle provision for depreciation rupees 60,000. So what is this provision for depreciation? This is the depreciation they have deducted every year for the distribution vehicle, and totally how much they have deducted is what they have shown here. So this is a credit balance. Always remember, a provision will always be a credit balance. So you need to take this balance to financial position under accumulated depreciation column. I will teach you the workings how to do this. So let me move on to the next one. Stock as at first 2017, 25,000. 9% bank loan, they have said 100,000. So purchase, this 9% is representing the amount of interest you need to pay for the bank. So they need to pay 9%, means 100,000 into 9% will give you 9% is 9,000. Purchase is 150,000. Sales 240,000. Salary is 8,000. Debtors 20,000. Creditors 17,000. Discount received 3,000. Discount allowed 1,000. Carriage inwards is 1,500. Discount allowed means the discount which you have allowed when you are selling the product. If you don't get the money on time, you will allow the debtors to pay the money at least by reducing a small discount. We say as discount allowed. This is a cash discount. It's not a trade discount, because trade discount will not be taken into the books of account. You will take only cash discount. This cash discount is divided into two, as discount received and discount allowed. Then we move on to carriage inward. Is the amount of expenses which you incur when you are bringing the product into the business. That expense is a part of you need to add under purchases column under income statement. Bank interest paid is the actual amount they have paid. Here you saw 9% is the bank loan, so 100,000 into 9% is 9,000, but they have only taken 4,500. So you need to find out what was the mistake. And they are given bad debt 800, electricity charges 2,000, rate 200, and cash balance 7,000. Then we have 920,000 as the total balance. Then that's all for the details they are given in trial balance. So let's move on to additional information. Stock as at 31st 12 2017 is rupees 25,000. Distribution vehicle should be depreciated annually at 10% on straight line method. 1,200 has been decided to be written off as bad debts. So it's your wish to start from top to bottom, but I always start from bottom because it gives me a clear understanding where to start and where to stop the sum. So stock as at 31st 12 2017, this has two adjustments. So I need to consider this as closing stock. So I will consider this as closing stock. How much is the closing stock? 25,000. I'm going to go for 2018 sum. So I'm going to put this amount 25,000 under closing stock. So once I record this closing stock in 25,000 here, I will take this same amount to current assets. Here you can see under statement of financial portion under current asset, I might write inventory. So inventory, I need to remember, I need to write closing stock as inventory under current asset. I'll record here the same 25,000. Always try to remember to use the second column when you're doing the current asset. So you don't use the first column, you only use the first column on statement of financial portion when you're doing non-current assets only. So this cost accumulated depreciation carrying amount only kept for the first set of things which is non-current assets. Non-current asset questions, when you are recording, you need to only record under cost column. But when you are recording current asset, you can't record under first column. You will always record under the second column. Okay, then we can move on to the next point which we want to discuss. So inventory closing stock is 25,000. I record already under closing stock 25,000. I record as inventory under current assets. So that's the basic first adjustment. I am done with this. But closing stock is a minus balance, so I will put a brackets. So in Excel, you can't see brackets. You will see it as a minus value, but it always represent a bracket when you are presenting a minus value on examination. So we move on to the next second adjustment. They are saying distribution vehicles should be depreciated annually at 10% on straight line method. So how do we take depreciation? You all know that they had a depreciation amount. So I'm going to go to distribution vehicle 400,000. They have a provision 60,000. So they are saying that the depreciation is on straight line method. Straight line method means 10% on directly you need to see on cost. So let me move on to the workings. I'm going to do the workings a bit down for your and my convenience. I'll write here workings one. It's better always write workings when you're doing. So I'm going to do workings depreciation. So what was my depreciation? Actual depreciation, I had my cost was 400,000 of distribution vehicle into 10% is 10 over 100 will give me 40,000 actually. So this is the depreciation which should go to, where does it go, this 40,000? This will go to more depreciation, you can write for this year. Okay. So once you record this for this year, this depreciation moves on to profit and loss account. What you charge for that particular year, you need to take it into profit and loss account. So this profit and loss account is going to have how much depreciation? 40,000. So I'm going to record this 40,000 correctly on the profit and loss account. But this depreciation is a distribution vehicle. So when you sell only, you distribute. So it's a part of selling and distribution expense. So I'll consider here depreciation of distribution vehicles. So we are done with that small concern. 40,000. You write here 40,000. So now we are done with the first recording of the working, but we have some more things to do because this depreciation had this cost. I record it under the financial position. Before I record it under financial position, I need to find out what is my accumulated depreciation. So finding out accumulated depreciation, you have two terms. I can say it as accumulated depreciation or provision for depreciation. Examiner is very tricky. He might say provision or accumulated. So you need to be concerned that both terms are same. So provision for depreciation is how much? You have provision for depreciation as you can consider provision for depreciation as 60,000 because they are given in this working. I'm going to 2018 sheet. I'm going to show you when you do something, you need to bold it or you put a tick. So I can't put a tick here. I'm just bolding it what I have done. I'm done with the closing stock. So I will bold that first of all. Stock asset, I'm done with this. Then I'm going to do this. So I'm going to bold this. Then I'm moving on to the distribution vehicle. So I'm done with this 400,000. I'll bold it. And distribution vehicle provision we have given as 60,000. So I'm going to bold this also. So this 60,000 is the amount of accumulated depreciation which was earlier brought forward. So this amount was brought forward actually, and this amount you're going to add this year's depreciation. This year depreciation we got 40,000. So I'm going to add 40,000 along with the brought forward depreciation, provision for depreciation. You will get total depreciation as 100,000. So this is the amount I'm going to send to financial position, or we can say as your terms balance. So I will take 100,000 as accumulated depreciation under balance sheet. So let me move on to the next point. So this 100,000 will be transferred to balance sheet. We will take it under accumulated depreciation. But before, always remember to leave one line for land and building. Most of the time, land and building will come under non-current asset. First, always you need to write with land and building. So I will write here. If you want, you can write keep type it and keep land and building. And you need to write the next one, distribution vehicle. You know the cost. You already know the cost. The cost is 400,000. So we got accumulated depreciation of 100,000. Always show it in brackets. So then we have 300,000 here. So yeah, we are done with distribution vehicles, basic workings. Then we are moving on to the second adjustment. So this is how what I did. I found the profit and loss account balance 400,000. I went through straight line with the 10%. I got 40,000. This we charged to profit and loss account because what you charge for that particular year, you need to take for the profit and loss account. Then we move on to accumulated depreciation. You had provision with depreciation. You had brought for 6,000. I added with depreciation. This year's depreciation. How much was this year's depreciation we had? 40,000. So I added with the provision for depreciation. So I got the total accumulated depreciation 100,000. I sent it to accumulated depreciation column and I deducted from cost minus accumulated depreciation. I got carrying amount. Then moving on to the next point we're going to discuss today. It's about 1,200 has been decided to be written as bad debt. So what is bad debt? It's an amount you are expecting that you will receive from a debtor. That amount you didn't receive it. So if you don't receive it by end of the year, you need to consider that money cannot be recovered. So that money cannot be recovered means it is considered as part of bad debt. So I'm going to consider this as bad debt means where do I need to take? So I need to know this first of all. Do I need to first of all see is there any bad debts they are given here? Yeah. So how much they have given bad debts here? They are given a bad debt of 800 already. And also they have given here a bad debt of 1,200. So this 800 is already considered on trial balance, but this 1,200 is not considered. So what you need to do, you need to only deduct that 1,200 from the debtors. Who are debtors? Debtors are the people who need to give us money. So that whole debtors amount, you will deduct only 1,200. The reason you don't deduct 800 because this 800 has already been accounted as a bad debt expense. So I'm going to take first of all bad debts under selling and distribution expense because when you get bad debts, when you sell it to debtors, you will incur bad debt because these people will not pay you back. So I'll write bad debt and I will write two things. One is 800 and plus 1,200. This is the actual new value. In total, you will have a bad debt of 2,000. So now I'm gonna move on to the 2018 and I'm gonna consider this bad debt I have considered in my books. So 800. I'm done with this. Then I move on to the next part. I'm done with the third adjustment, 1,200. I have small work to do. I'll move on to my workings. I'm going to show you. Okay, working number 2. So your total debtors, you can consider debtors is how much. First of all, you need to know your debtors. So your debtors, I'm going to move on to 2018 and see how much is our debtors balances. So debtors, you have balance of 20,000. I'm going to bold it. So I'm done with the debtors. So I'm going to take this 20,000 here and I'm going to deduct 1,200 because this is a bad debt. So bad debt. Yeah. So 20,000 minus 1,200. I always said when you deduct, you need to put in brackets. 1,200. You will get how much you will get? 18,800. You will write here it as debtors actual balance. Or this is the amount which goes to balance sheet. Okay. So you can show like this. This balance sheet 18,800 is the actual debtors which we are going to do. So this debtors actual balance is now 18,800. I'm going to transfer this balance towards current asset as debtors because debtors are part of current asset because they are paying and purchasing and selling within 1 year of time. So we consider them as current asset. as 18,800. So I'm done with this basic adjustment. So we are moving on to the next thing. We are done with the adjustment. So let me move on to the next certain thing. So we are done with all the additional information. It was very straightforward and easy for us to understand how fast we have finished our basic additional requirement. Now it's just putting the figures onto the correct places. Land and building at cost, I'm gonna bold it. Yeah. And I'm gonna put 300,000 under where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put an non-current asset. Saying land and building, I had already kept a space. So there's no accumulated depreciation, I think, because they haven't given anything. Yeah, they haven't given any provision for depreciation, so I didn't consider anything. So I'll put a dash. Dash, I can keep it in middle. Put always dash in middle when you are doing the sum. Then we are going to take the same amount because there's no accumulated depreciation. I will take the same 300,000. So in total, your non-current assets you will have a value. I'm going to take this 300 plus 300 will give me 600,000. So I'm going to show 600,000 here. Total non-current asset. So now current asset I didn't finish it up. I need to go one by one. Let me go again to the 2008 sheet. So capital they are given 500,000. I'm going to bold it 500,000. I'm done with 500,000. I'm going to take on the capital column. The capital column, again, I said the first column is only used for non-current asset, only you need to use for the second column. So we recorded 500,000. Then moving on to 2018, again, we are going to take distribution provision. We are done with this. Stock asset first 2017 is opening stock. So I'm going to take 25,000 to income statement, opening stock. So I'm going to go for income statement, opening stock, 25,000. Yeah, I'm done with that. So then we move on to 2018 bank loan. Bank loan, 9% bank loan. How much is the bank loan we are going to consider? It's 100,000. So I'm going to consider on a non-current liability 9% bank loan as 100,000. So I'm going to take 100,000 here. So, but here there's a small problem because when we consider bank loan, I want to do a small working. What is the working? Because here we saw 9% bank loan is how much we need to pay. I'm going to do working number 3. So I'm going to do the bank loan adjustment working. So working 3. Okay, I will consider this as bank loan interest. So according to the calculation, there's 100,000 worth of bank loan. We need to find 9%. So 9% is 9,000. But actually, according to the trial balance, they have paid. This is the actual interest. Right here, actual interest as 9,000. Right? But they have actually paid. How much did they pay actually? They actually paid 4,500. According to trial balance, we have paid 4,500. So how much you need to pay? 4,500. You need to pay more. Okay, so this is what we say payable. You never paid this amount, but you need to pay in future. So this 4,500. How do we take this? We take this 4,500 is a payable amount which we need to pay in future. So we consider it as current liability. Okay, so we consider this 4,500 as current liability. We will show it under balance sheet. Where do we show? Current liability. So you need to know where do you take these figures. It's very important because it's an amount which you need to pay but you didn't pay. So if you didn't pay on time, it becomes an accrued expense under current liability. Accrued what expense? It becomes accrued bank loan interest. So we move on to the trial balance again. I'm going to show how much bank loan interest they have paid. They have paid 4,000 and I'm going to bold that because I'm done with that. I'm going to go to the workings and bank loan interest is a finance expense. So I show bank loan interest here. Bank loan interest. Yeah. So the bank loan interest is how much we are getting. We are getting 4,500 is the amount we have paid. We need to pay another 4,500. In total, we will show here 9. So in this 9,000, 4,500 has been paid and 4,500 is payable. So I will consider it as current liability as accrued bank loan interest. So here I have put 4,500. I have kept one line for writing creditors. Most of the time you will have creditors here. So I'm going to have a total column here, 4,500. So that's all. We're done with all the adjustments on the paper in 2018. So I'm going to record it easily. Purchases 150,000. I'm going to take 150,000 purchases to the next side. Where do you have 2018 workings purchases? We will take under cost of sales purchase 150,000. I'm done with that recording. Then we move on to 2018. Other recording, what do we have? Sales 240,000. So I will take sales 240,000. Yeah. Sales, we have taken 240,000. Always remember to write rupees because examiner considers this. I also forgot to do something. This business name. We need to record the business name in each sum. What is this business name? The business name is Kavindu's business. So always remember to write Kavindu's business on your sum. So on your sum above, right here Kavindu's business. And it's the same here on the statement of financial position. You need to write Kavindu's. So don't lose marks without writing the format properly. Format, you'll get a mark on exam, so don't lose that mark. Every mark can make you A or every mark can make you B. Okay, so any results you get based on the marks you get. So salaries is 8,000. I will take salaries as an expense. It's an administration expense. So I'll consider salaries an administration expense. So I'll take salaries. Right. So I'm done with salaries. Then I move on to 2018 sheet. Creditors 17,000. So I'm going to take creditors 17,000. I'm going to take creditors under current liability, which I have left a small space. Creditors 17,000. Simple as that. Every topic you need to put a line. Current liability you need to have a small topic line. Non-current liability you need to have a topic line. You don't want to have a topic line for capital and profit. Then we move on to the sum. Discount received is another income. So it's a money which you receive when you pay the money to the creditor because he gives an advance discount for you because you pay the money on time. Discount received is 3,000. So I'll consider it as 3,000. And you have in 2018 discount allowed as 1,000. It's a selling expense because discount allowed comes when you sell the product. So I will consider it under selling and distribution expense as discount allowed. Yeah. And 1,000. I record 1,000. Then we have in 2018 we have carriage inwards 1,500. I'll bold carriage inwards 1,500. It's addition to the purchase, the money which you have spent when you are bringing the product into the business. There are two types of carriage expenses. One is carriage inward, other one is carriage outward. Carriage outward comes under selling and distribution expense because you are taking the product from your business towards your customer. So when the product goes from your business place towards customer, the moving out the product from your place to customer's place, we say it as carriage outward. So it comes under selling and distribution expense. But carriage inward, it comes under cost of sales. The reason it is amount which you are incurring to bring that product from the port or harbor towards your business place. So the money which you spend to bring the product into the business place is known as carriage inward. So I will add carriage inward. It's a cost of production. It's also an expense. So carriage inward is how much? 1,500. So we have done that also. Record it clearly 2,000. We are done almost with everything. Electricity charges. Day-to-day electricity we use in our office, so it becomes our administration expense. Day-to-day expense comes under administration expense. So electricity is the day-to-day expense we use every day. So 2,000. I will record this as. Then I have one more thing. I think rates. Rates we can. It is also an administration expense. Remember, rates is an administration expense. So 200 is an amount which we can consider. Then we have one more final thing which we want to record, cash balance. With that, the sum comes to an end. 7,000. I'm going to take it under current asset because this is the actual balance which we have in our hand. So cash is 7,000. It's better you put a comma. I am putting comma for you to understand. It's not a mandatory thing to put comma when you're writing in exams. You can write, but it's better always write commas when you're writing. Okay, I always write with commas when I write. So it gives a clear understanding. So always remember to put a comma and do the sum. So let me finish this sum. Opening stock is 25,000, 150,000. If I add together 175,000 plus 1,500 will give me 76,500. So I can write here 176,500. If I deducted 25,000, my cost of sales will become 176 minus 25,000 is 151,000. Fine. This is a negative balance, so I'll write in because cost of sales is always negative. You will deduct from your sales, your cost of sales. Cost of sales is also known as cost of production. It's the money which you have spent to make that product. Okay, so then we have gross profit. You deduct from sales minus cost of sales. So 240 minus 151,500 will give you 88,500. So I'll write here 88,500. You have discount receipt. I'll take this amount to this side. All the columns you need to add it to the next side. So 88,500, you will add this 3,000. So when you add this 3,000 with 88,500, you get 91,500. Then you have expenses. You have 43,000 under selling and distribution expense. I'll write here 43,000. It's better you put in brackets as I already informed. Put a line and bring that. And here you have 10,200. Okay. And here you have bank loan interest 9,000. Then always put commas, but I itself didn't put comma. But you guys need to remember putting comma is a must in paper. So always have a comma, guys. So it will give you a clear understanding the gaps of numbers. The examiner will be it will give him a easy way to understand your numbers value. So 9,000 is the value. I want to take the same 9,000. This side 9,000. So it's a deduction in value. So I'll put in brackets again. Right. Now, how much is my net profit? My all expenses 43,000 plus 10,200 plus 9,000 will give me 62,200. So my other income plus gross profit will give me 91,500. So I can take 91,500 and deduct 62,200 to get my net profit, because I see that my expense is lower than my other income and gross profit. So I will deduct the amount from the balance. So 91,500 minus 62,200 will give me 29,300. So I'll write here 29,300 and I will write here net profit. So that's it. Then we move on. This net profit I will take towards this 29,300. I need to transfer it to my financial portion. Under financial portion, not in non-current asset, not in current asset, under capital column, you have profit column. So this area you can put net profit. Don't put profit always, because you might even get lost sometimes. So it's better 29,300. You will add and show here. 500,000 plus 29,300 will give you 529,300 value. So I'm gonna finalize current asset first of all. So 25,000, 18,800 and 7,000 is giving me a balance of 50,800. I'm gonna take this total 600 plus 50,800 will give me 650,800. 650,800. I'm done with my current asset, total current assets. So my total current assets should be equal to the total equity and liabilities. Then only my sum is correct. So I'll move on to non-current liability. I have only 100,000. I'll transfer this 100,000 here. Okay. So then I'm done with that. Creditors and accrued bank loan interest is 22. I think creditors is 17,000 or 17,500. I have small mistake. 17,000 and 4,500 will give me 21,000. Right. So what is my total? 129,100 and 21,500 is giving the same balance of 650,800. So this is how you balance your account. If you are doing these adjustments properly, you need a lot of practice. If you do practices properly, then of course we can achieve the sum easily. Scoring this area is very important, because this is tested in MCQs also. If you know this contents properly, then of course scoring is not that hard task when it comes to exams. So let me move on to 2017 question. Let's move on to the second question now. We are going to do trial balance of Ranga's trading business as at 31st 12/2016. So let me start with these details. I'll zoom a bit so you can have a clear vision. So you have capital. Before we start, as we did the last sum, you always need to start with the requirement. It's better if you can start with requirement, but it's always good if you can read the things what is there, so you have knowledge what you're going to do on the paper. But don't waste much time. first recording these things, because recording should be done later. First, you always need to record the requirements first of all. So we move on to capital. Capital is 200,000 credit. Distribution vehicle at cost is debit 250,000. Distribution vehicle provision for depreciation. So provision for depreciation is also known as accumulated depreciation. I explained on the last sum. Stock as at 1st plus 2016 is opening stock, 12% bank loan. Insurance charges 12,000. Sales 220,000. Purchase 170,000 and debtors 30,000. Creditors 40,000. Discount received 4,000. Discount allowed 2,500. Bank loan interest 1,000. Bad debts 1,000. Then electricity charges 1,500. Rates 2,000. Administrative expense 6,000. Cash balances 30,000. So we have these details. So let me move on with this first one by one. Stocks as of 31st 12 2016 is 28,000. Distribution vehicles should be depreciated annually at 10% on straight line method. Prepaid insurance as at 31st 12 2016 is rupees 2,000. So we need to record these basic things. Stock is also known as inventory. So this is closing stock which they have given. So I'm going to take this 26,000, the working sheet. Zoom this working sheet. So, yeah. So this is giving some sort of. So I'm gonna take closing stock. It's 28,000. It's always better to put a comma, as I said on the last sum. Then we are recording distribution vehicle should be depreciated annually at 10% per annum. So let me move on to the cost of the distribution vehicle. 250,000 is the cost. Whenever you are taking some details on trial balance, you need to bold it out or put a tick on your paper, so you will remember that you have taken this in to the sum when you are doing. So this 250,000 we have taken. Now also distribution vehicle, they are saying so distribution vehicle is a, we say it as provision. So provision is the last year's depreciation which you are carrying for the next year. So I'm going to take 2016's distributions vehicles accumulated depreciation or provision for depreciation. So workings one, always remember to start with working. What is the working we're going to do? Depreciation. Distribution vehicle. We are done with distribution vehicle. Let me move on to the cost. Cost into straight is the percentage, straight line method. This is how you take straight line method percentage. So now cost is how much? 250,000. Percentage is 10%. 10 over 100. Give you an amount of depreciation 25,000. This will be charged to profit and loss account. So you need to transfer this 25,000 for profit and loss account, because this is a depreciation for that particular current year. So you need to transfer the balance to the profit and loss account 25,000. Now, how do you take the accumulated depreciation? It's simple. You need to bring the provision first. You all know that we went through the question. Provision is 30,000. So provision, or we can say provision for depreciation of a term, accumulated depreciation. Whatever you feel comfortable, you can use. Both are same. Provision for depreciation is 30,000, and you had your actual depreciation this year. What was your actual depreciation this year? You have depreciation as this year 25,000. So I'm going to total your 30,000. Yeah. So this is 30,000. In total, your accumulated depreciation, the whole depreciation for this year and the last year, in total, we will take 55,000, because 25 plus 30 will give you 55,000. Now, what you need to do is you need to change, move it to balance sheet. Where do you move it? Under non-current asset. Non-current asset distribution vehicle. So let me keep one line for land and building, but if you can test, if you are not sure, sometimes the examiner will not give land and building. So it's better you see on the trial balance, do you have anything called land and building? So I think there's no land and building. So it's better you can start with distribution vehicle. If they have given, always start with land and building on the first land cost. Land and building, you need to leave one line under non-current asset always. It's better if you leave, so you will know to record it first. So it's not a mandatory thing, but if you do it, it gives you, it's a way an accountant does a paper. Distribution vehicle is how much? We have 150,000 as cost. We had accumulated depreciation as 55,000. Then we have a carrying amount of 195,000. So we are done with that. Now we are moving on to the Give me a second, guys. Okay, so because I want to take the clear picture of depreciation, accumulated depreciation. Now we are done with carrying amount. We are done with the basic first two adjustments. So we are moving on again into the trial balance of 2017. Prepaid insurance is a amount you have paid in advance. That amount you can't keep it in profit and loss account. If you have paid insurance in advance, you need to remove that advance amount and you need to transfer it to the current asset. So we are going to remove 2000 from insurance. So insurance is a day-to-day expense, is something which is essential for the day-to-day operation. So insurance should be deducted by 2000 because it's a prepaid expense. If it is an accrued expense, add it back to the expense. If it is a prepaid expense, you need to remove it off. So 12,000 you have. I will take it under administration expense. As you all know, always remember to put this format and keep. If you on the first question I did how to keep the format, what are the things you need to have in the format. That's why I'm not explaining on the second sum how to have the format. As you all can see the last week, I mean last year, I mean 2018 paper, you will have a proper understanding what I have done. So administration expense, I can write here insurance. I can take 12,000. I need to deduct 2,000. Show like this, so examiner knows that you are deducted. Either you can show in workings or you can deduct here. It's not a problem. Insurance, I can then the 2,000. Leave first line always to, as I said, as always leave first line you need to keep on a current asset for inventory. Second, it for debtors. Third for cash. Fourth for bank. Fifth for how do you say prepayments. Most of the time we can say prepayments as other receivables. Accruals we can also say it as other payables. So prepayments you can even put on the second line. Always keep first line prepayment insurance, or you can say prepayment insurance or prepaid insurance. So how much is prepaid insurance you are getting here? You are getting here 2,000. So we record this as 2,000. Then we are done with that. So we are moving on to the paper. That's all. So you have done all the basic necessary adjustments. So it's just recording now. Capital is 200,000. I'm gonna move on to capital and record 200,000. Yes. You guys see here, I'm gonna 200. Then I'm going towards again. So I bold it. What I have taken. Can bold the figure also. Stock as at 1st plus 2016 is 35,000. So 35,000 is opening stock. I'm going to take opening stock 35,000 as opening stock under cost of sales. 35,000 I will add it. Then I have 12% bank loan. Now there's always remember there's a working under bank loan as I already explained on the last sum also. 12% bank loan 50,000. Now how much they have paid? We need to see bank loan interest they have paid is 4,000. But actually 12% is more than 4,000. So let me find 12% first of all. I'll move on to workings number 2. Yeah, it's always better if you can give a working. So this is bank loan interest. So how much is bank loan interest we have? We have paid 4,000, but we need to find about the whole bank loan. 50,000 is a bank loan, so they are paying 12%. So 50,000 into 12 over 100 will give you 6,000. So 6,000 is the amount you should pay. But how much they have paid? So this is payable, actual amount you should pay. But paid on the trial balance we found how much they have paid. They have paid bank loan interest of 4,000. So let me take 4,000 here, deduct it from the 6,000. Right, so you have payable 6,000 minus 4,000 will give you. Now this 2,000 is the amount which you need to consider into accrued expense. You know why we take into accrued expense? The reason accrued expense is a current liability, so you need to consider this amount has not been paid. So the amount which you have not paid, you need to take it under current liability because it's a payable amount within a small period of time, not more than 1 year. That's the reason we take under current liability. So I'm going to take this under current liability. Accrued bank loan interest. Normally, you don't want to put this and keep it. It's not a mandatory thing. But if you want, you can keep because creditors is always tested on all the paper. Every time you will have a creditor. There's no exact amount. This is on the last time I have taken 9%, 12% here. According to this, creditors accrued bank loan interest we got 2,000 which we need to pay. So now this 2,000 I can show this bank loan interest it comes under finance expense because it is about some sort of finance dealing because bank loan is some money you have received from outside, so you need to consider this amount as a finance expense. So we are going to write bank loan interest as at 4,000, always present like this, so you have a clear understand. You can directly put 6,000 also, still you get marks, but if you show like that, you will not miss this 2,000 towards recording and accrued bank loan interest. You will not forget it. That's the reason I always show the working properly. So 6,000 is the balance we have taken. So that's all. Almost every working is done. So we can go on easily to the next part. Insurance charges is done. But I think I missed one thing. What is the thing what I missed? You guys already know when I was recording the depreciation, I said this goes to 25,000 goes to profit and loss account, but I forgot to record this 25,000 profit and loss account. So it's always better you see your workings after doing. So you will remember that you need to record this basic thing. So depreciation is amount depreciation of distribution vehicle working on number one. Yeah. So I'll write here because I couldn't represent depreciation of distribution vehicle. I'll write dip of distribution vehicle, but don't write dip in exams because examiner will not give you marks. So depreciation of distribution vehicles. How much is the depreciation? 25,000. So now it's that easy. So we have recorded that also. Sales is 220,000. It's better to record sales. So we move on to sales. Okay, sales 220,000. So we have recorded sales also. Then we move on to 2017 purchases, 170,000. I'm going to record that it under purchases and the cost of sales, 170,000. Then I have 2017. I have another concern, debtors, 30,000. Debtors. Let me move on. Debtors is a current asset, so I'm going to write here. Debtors. Did I have any bad debts? I want to see. Did I have any bad debts? You see here, there's a bad debt of 1,000. I can't deduct this bad debt. The reason this bad debt is not an adjustment because this already has been paid or they have already deducted this amount and only they are representing under trial balance. On the previous sum, what we did was we had I showed the previous sum also. Now you see this previous sum we did. Okay, we had a bad debt on 2018 paper, we had a bad debt here, an additional expense 1,200. This 1,200 I added with this bad debt 800, so I got 2,000. So that is previous sum. But this 1,200 only I deducted from the debtors 20,000. Here you can see. But here they are not giving anything on the workings, so you don't have anything under the additional information added. So you don't want to take this 1,000. You just need to represent this 1,000 under selling and distribution expense. Take directly the debtors 30,000. Okay, so you will record debtors 30,000. Okay, so I'm done with that also. I'm moving on to the next part. You have creditors 40,000. So I'm gonna record creditors 40,000. Creditors 40,000. So I'm done with creditors 40,000. Right. Always have a comma, guys. I'm always informing you, but I'm not recording. So moving on to the next point, we want to discuss 2017 40,000. Discount receipt 4,000. Right. Discount receipt is other income. Okay. So discount received is 4,000. So I'm going to record discount received. Don't write short terms in exams. So I'm going to take this 4,000 here. Next side. Then we move on to 2017. Discount allowed is a distribution expense. I'm going to take this 2,500. Yeah. So it's a distribution expense. Discount allowed because it is an expense which you income when you sell. How much is discount allowed? You get discount allowed as 2,500. So you record 2,500. Then you have 2017 bank loan interest. Yes, we're done with that. We recorded it. Bad debts 1,000. We record 1,000. Bad debts. How much is bad debts? Yeah, 1,000. So I will record 1,000 here. Then I have 2017 electricity charges. It's an administration expense. So I'm going to take administration expense 1,500. Electricity. So here I didn't record 10,000. I record that also. 1,500 electricity. Then what else I have? I have rate 2,000. Yeah, I have rate 2,000. Yeah, 2,000. Then I have administrative expenses 6,000. I'm going to record that also. Administrative expenses 6,000. So I will write here. It's better if you can write administrative expenses. Administrative expense 1,000. Then we are done with that also. So then we have cash balance 30,000. I'm going to move on to cash. Under debtors, you are going to record cash 30,000. So I'm done with that also. But I didn't do did a small mistake on the sum. You guys remember when we record closing stock 28,000, we should also record it as under current asset as inventory, which I forgot. So I remember now. So I record this 28,000. On previous sum, we did it with the alignment. In the sum we missed. So whatever it is, when you are seeing the value, you leave a line. Because I left a line, I remember that I need to write inventory. So if you leave the spaces, you will not go wrong on the sum. That's all we have done. I think I have recorded almost everything on the sum. So it's now balancing off. It's all balancing off. It's just a way of just calculating and showing it on the other side. Is it balancing or not? So I'll move on to this sum. I have 220,000 sales, 30,000, 35,000. I have no carriage in it, so I remove it. 25 plus 170 will give you 205,000. So 205,000 deducting 28,000. This is a closing stock. So closing stock should be deducted, and also it should be a minus value. You can represent here it's a minus value if you want. So you will not forget again it's a minus value. So 205,000 minus 28,000 will give you 177,000. So I'm going to deduct this 177,000 because the cost of sales is a minus. Again, I represent it. So I will not forget it. 177,000. I will deduct it from 220,000. So I will get how much is my balance? I will get 220,000 minus 177,000 will become 43,000. 43,000 plus 4,000 will give me 47. Okay. So then selling and distribution expenses, I have 28,500. I'm gonna, it's a minus value. Then 10,000 minus 1,000 plus 1,500 plus 2,000 plus 6,000 will give me 19,500. So always put in brackets, but here you will get always a minus figure. Always represented in brackets. So 6,000 is also an expense. So now I'm going to deduct all these values from this 47,000. So 28,500 plus 19,500 plus 6,000 will give you 54,000. Right? So 54,000 is your 47,000 is your profit. So with that you are going to deduct 54,000 minus 54,000. You will get a balance of 7,000 loss. This is a net. You don't have a profit in this business. You have a loss, right? 7,000. So you have a loss 7,000. I'm gonna write here net loss, not net profit. So now this net loss 7,000, you need to transfer it to the under capital. So here I have recorded as net profit, but unfortunately I got net loss. So this 7,000 is the amount I'm going to transfer under capital as net loss. So this I will erase it off. Net loss. You can, it's better you don't put it. I put net profit there. The reason most of the time examiner will give you net profit. Sometimes he might give you net loss. The reason I record it, even in your exam, record it and keep on the format, because if you forget to record net profit, then of course the whole sum will not balance. So even if you get not net loss, you know, when you see the net profit side, you will remember, okay, I need to record this. So you'll record the things correct. So net loss is, how much is net loss? Net loss is 7,000. So we have recorded net loss. 200,000 plus 7,000 will give you 207,000. There's no drawings on the business, so we don't have anything to deduct. I'm going to take 195,000. That's all. You don't have any land or building. So I'm going to bring the same balance down. Non-current assets total is 195,000. It's better you put a line and bring it down. So then you have current assets 28,000, 2,000, 30,000, 30,000 will give you 90,000. Okay. So 90,000. So 90,000 plus 195,000 is how much? We are getting 285,000. I'm going to record 285,000. Then we move on to next one. 200,000 plus 7,000 is 207,000. Bank loan I forgot to record, so I'm moving on. That's why if you write the format, you will not forget to record anything, so you will not go missing. 50,000 is your bank loan, so 50,000 you will record here. We'll take the same 50,000 to the next side. You will be eventually tested only bank loan and then after that. So you don't want to think much about this. So 42,000 is your current liability. So altogether, how much we are going to get? Yeah, there's a small concern of thing. This is a net loss, so we can't add it here. So we need to deduct this 7,000. We need to show it as a minus. So 200,000 minus 7,000 will give you 193,000. So we need to take 193,000 plus 50,000 plus 42,000 will give you 285,000. So that's how we take. So we're done with the adjustment. We're almost done with 2017. I hope you guys understood. So let's move on to 2016 now. Okay, guys. So let me move on to 2016 paper. On the 2017 thing, we just need to record only one thing. If we didn't finish it off, as I always informed you, you need to record the business name on top of the sum. It's Ranga's Trading. So we forgot it to record. Ranga's Trading, or it's better Ranga's Business or Ranga's Trading Business. If you can record something like that. So you will write the same thing to statement of financial position. We are done with that. So we move into 2016. So first of all, we'll start writing the business name, Ravi's Trading Business. So I'll write here on the profit and loss account. I'll make it a bit. I hope you can see this as accumulated depreciation. So let's start this sum. 2017, 2016 sum. Capital is 500,000. They record Ravi Trading Business. Better you start writing the name. Ravi Trading Business. So now you have sales. Let me start with the trial balance. Capital is 500,000. Yeah, capital is 500,000. Stocks as at first 2015 is opening stock. 10,000 purchases is 280,000. Sales is 350,000. Debtors 30,000. Creditors 13,000. 15% bank loan 50,000. Land and building at cost is 400,000. So we have land and building at cost. So we need to leave a line. Then doing non-current asset. Machinery at cost 150,000. Bank loan interest 3,000. Administrative salary 14,000. Discount allowed 3,200, discount received 5,000, rate 8,000, advertising 12,500, and cash in hand 7,300. Stocks, additional information they have requested, they have given you. Stocks as at 31st 12 2015 is 30,000. So this is the closing stock. Machine should be depreciated annually at 10% on straight line method. 3,000 has been decided to be written off as bad debt. So you have statement of profit and loss account for the year ended 31st 12 2000. This is 15 you are doing, and again statement of financial position for the year 15. So I think we did the same statement of financial position. This should be this is correct, 60. So now we'll move on to the sum. What we want to do, additional information. Stocks as a 31st 12 2015 is a closing stock. So this we need to record it under current asset as inventory, and also we need to record it under cost of sales as closing stock. So let me record this 30,000 under closing stocks. It should be always represented as a minus the figure 30,000. And also under current asset, the first adjustment should be inventory. So I have already said you should not use the first column in your recording. Always use the second column because first column is used only for the cost column for non-current assets. Then we move on to 2016. Machine should be depreciated annually at 10% on straight line method. So let me see the machine at cost. Machine at cost. I'm going to take this 150,000. Do you have any provision for depreciation? No provision for depreciation. There's no provision for depreciation on this sum. So let me record 150,000 as workings. Number one. So this is what workings we are going to do. We are going to do workings number one as machines depreciation. One machine depreciation. So I'm going to find 10% is the cost is 150,000 into 10 over 100 will give you the actual depreciation for this year. So 150,000 into 10 over 100 will give you 15,000. 15,000 is your this year depreciation. So this is depreciation you need to charge for profit and loss account. Yeah, P and L. You can write profit and loss. Always write the full term. Don't write short terms. Profit and loss account. Then you need to find your provision. There's no provision, so you can take directly this 15,000 to profit and loss account, and the same 15,000. I mean, when you're showing on the accumulated depreciation, earlier sums we had provision. We added the provision along with the depreciation, and we got the provision for depreciation. Here there's no not for provision, so you just need to take the same depreciation, which is 15,000, show it here. It's the same amount you're going to take to balance sheet. So I'm going to take this 15,000 to balance sheet first of all. I always leave a line for land and building. So 15,000 is my accumulated depreciation. My cost is 150,000. I know this is a machine. So I record machine. 150,000 minus 15,000 will give you 135,000. So I'm done with that. Then I move on to the expenses. Yeah. So I move on to expenses. Selling and distribution expense. What is the expense? We can't take selling and distribution expense. Earlier two papers 2018 and 17 we did distribution. So we took under it's a distribution expense. Van is a distribution expense. So we took the depreciation under distribution expense. But here administration expense means machine is a usage for day to day. So we say machine as an administration expense. So depreciation of the machine should come under administration expense. So depreciation of machine. I'm recording 15,000 here. I'm done with that. So I move on to 2016 again. For the third adjustment, what is the third adjustment I get given? 3,000 has been designed to written as off as bad debts. Do you have any bad debts here? There's no bad debts, so you need to take the debtors value 30,000 and deduct 3,000 as bad debts. So I'm going to take debtors value. I'm going to take 3,000. So let me show workings too. Debtors. It is like 2018 adjustment. You have debtors bought forward. You can show anyway. Examiner will give you marks. You don't want to show this complex. You can show 30,000. Sorry guys, because I think my number got off. 30,000. And you need to deduct bad debts. How much is bad debt? 3,000 from 30,000. If you deduct, you will send to a financial statement 27,000. Financial position. So balance sheet, you can say BS. Balance sheet 27,000. I'll represent here 27,000. 100 debtors. There's an easy way rather than putting on the workings. You can even do like this. Take 30,000. I'm teaching you both methods and minus 3,000 here itself. You don't want to show it in the workings. If you feel it complex, you can do this way. Anyway, you like, examiner still gives you mark. But I always show in working because it gives me an idea if I have recorded in my work correctly. If I couldn't record it in under debtors, examiner still gives marks because your working is correct. So we move on to 2016. Debtors is done. So all the adjustments are done. So there's only one more adjustment, bank loan interest. So we'll start one by one. Capital is 500,000. I'm going to record capital 500,000. I'm done with capital. I don't know if there is net profit or net loss. We'll see. Stock as at 1st 2015 is opening stock 10,000. I'm recording opening stock. Right. In 2016 purchase I have 180,000. I'm going to record 280,000. Then I have carriage inward. Do I have any carriage inward? But I always put, maybe we have loading unloading charges. 2018 carriage inward was there. 17 was not tested. 2016 was not tested. So then I move on to 2016. Sales 350,000. I'm going to take sales 350,000. So 35,000 is 350,000. So I have recorded this. In 2016, I move on to creditors 13,000. Creditors 13,000. As creditors 13,000. Okay, then I have 2016. Bank loan is 15%, 50,000. So I'll just make this as 15 percentage bank loan. So I'm gonna do a working for bank loan. You guys know how to get the bank loan workings. Workings 3, bank loan interest. This is what I'm going to do now. So as you all know, bank loan is how much is the bank loan amount we got? 50,000. So 50,000 into 15%. Bank loan 50,000 into 15% will give you 15,000. Give me a second. Is it 50,000? I want to see it again. 50,000 into 15%. So 5% means 15,000 into 5%. How much do you get? So bank loan interest is 15,000. I mean 50,000 into 15% will give you 7,500. Right? So 7,500 is the amount which you should pay. But actually, trial balance they're showing that you have paid bank loan interest of 3,000. So now this 3,000 should be transferred to 2016 workings. It's paid 3,000. Yeah. So 3,000 minus 7,500, you will get. You need to still pay 4,500. Do you get it, guys? So you need to still pay 4,500. This is the amount we say as payable. So 4,500 is the amount which you need to pay, but actually you have not paid this 4,500. So I'm going to consider this as accrued expense which you have not paid. You can directly show it on the balance sheet as accrued expense 4,500 because we have not paid this. And the finance expense, we are showing bank loan interest, bank loan interest. You can take 3,000 is the amount you have paid in trial balance plus 4,500 is the amount you should pay. Altogether, you can take 7,500. You can take your 7,500. That's it for bank loan adjustment. That's the only adjustment you need to be very careful. So if you are careful on that, then of course your exam doing this paper is not that hard. Land and building at cost is 400,000. So you will take land and building at cost 400,000. Yeah, and on current asset. So you have land and building at cost 400,000. There's no accumulated depreciation. You will write here 400,000. Altogether, you have non-current assets 535,000. So I think we are done with all the adjustment. I think we have few more things to record. These things, administrative salary, I can consider it as salary. So that's 14,000. So that's under administration expense. Then I have 2016 discount allowed 3,200. I will move on to selling and distribution. Allowed. What is the amount we should record? 3,200. I forgot to record one more thing, bad debts, which we already record under record information. 3,000 I record here also. So I record that also. Now, then I have something to record in under discount receipt 5,000. So I'm moving on to discount receipt on the other income. Then we are moving on to the next adjustment. Discount allowed is done. Did we record 3,200? Yes. Then discount received is done. Here they are listing this, no? Discount allowed and discount received. Rates also they are listed. Administration expense. So you can write rates 8,000. Then we have Advertising is a part of selling and distribution expense, because if you want to advertise, if you advertise only, you can sell the product. So advertising comes under selling and distribution expense. Advertising. So advertising is how much? We have 12,500. So I'll take 12,500 here. Then I think I'm almost done with the sum. 2016. Then I have cash in hand 7,300. I'm going to take that also. So I'm almost done. So I can see what I have. I've taken everything. I have bolded it. I have ticked it out. I've done all these three adjustments. Yes. Then I have cash to record 7,300. So I'll write here cash. There's no prepaid expenses as on previous sum. Cash 7,300. I'm going to take the total of before we take the total of financial portion, we'll finish it up. We'll finish our income statement. So 10,000 plus 280,000 will give you 290,000 on cost of sales. When you are adding opening stock and purchases, so 290,000, and this you need to deduct by 30,000, you will get 260,000. This is a minus figure. Always you need to remember cost of sales is a closing stock is cost of sales is a minus figure. So 350,000 minus 260,000, you will get gross profit of 90,000, right? Then you add this 5,000, it is 90,000, you will get 95,000. Then you have selling and distribution expenses, administration expenses, and finance expenses. So let me finish it up soon. 3,200 plus 3,000 plus 12,500 will give me 18,700. That's done. Then we have 15,000 plus 14,000 plus 8,000 will give me 37,000. So I'm done with that also. But these are all minus figures. Let me remind you, these are all expenses, so you need to show it as a minus figure on paper. And 37,000 also you need to put in brackets, right? So this is also minus figure. And 7,500 is also a minus figure. So 18,700 plus 37,000 plus 7,500 will give you 63,200. So 95,000. I'm just doing for your understanding down. 95,000 minus 63,200 will give you a net profit of 31,800. I'll write here net profit. And this net profit should be transferred to under capital as net profit 31,800. So altogether, now I'm going to finish my current asset. First of all, we have finished already 35,000. So current asset is 64,300. Then we add this both together, we get 599,300. So even below it should be 599,300 total equity and liabilities. 31,800 is 5,000 plus 31,800. You have 50,000 to add bank loan. Then 13,000 plus 4,500. You will get 17,500. So 17,500 you need to add with 31,800 plus 50,000 plus 17,500. It's 599,300. I hope you understood the basics. If you have any doubts, please do not forget to comment on the below comment section. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions under the comment section. If you want more videos on certain areas, you can please type comment. Please comment on the comment section and say which areas I need to focus to explain you, and which areas you guys wanted me to teach you, so I can improve your knowledge and giving something which is valuable for you. I am always happy to help my students. So please subscribe our channel to see more videos. Thank you for giving your whole time to see this lecture and giving a chance for me to explain you. I hope you understood this basic profit and loss sum. Do not lose these marks on exams. This can be a 10-mark question or 12-mark question or even an 8-mark question. But whatever the marks they're gonna give, do not lose. In MCQs, you get almost 6 MCQs or 5 MCQs every year. You will be tested on this. If you know this 3 years particularly properly, if you attempted this, then of course doing profit and loss is very easy for you. Best of luck. Subscribe our channel. Don't forget to comment and like our video. Thank you guys. Bye.